It's Cynthia Hilston with cynthiahilston.com, back on another Monday as we continue our journey on writing that book, You Busy Moms. So thank you again for joining me. I know there's been a lot talked about over the last several weeks, but I hope you have found these videos useful. If you have and you haven't yet subscribed and you like what you see in this content, please hit the subscribe button below and the bell beside it, so you'll be notified of a new video that I put out every Monday. So without further ado, let's get started. Today I'm going to be talking about marketing and promoting your book or books. Now I realize that this may be farther along on the journey than you are currently, but it's always good to equip yourself with information. You can take notes on this video and you can certainly always come back to it. But this is part of being a self-published author. Even some authors who are traditionally published, especially first-timers, are going to have to do a lot of their self-promotion these days. This is just the way of things, I have found out. So this is going to probably be a fairly long video because I have a lot to cover. So I realize that most of us, we're writers, we're not into marketing, we're not into promoting, and you might wonder, how do I do that? How do I do it for free or for as little money as possible? Because most of us don't have just hundreds of dollars to just throw around. Certainly there's plenty of ways for paid marketing, paid advertising. Some are more effective than others. I'm going to talk about what has worked best for me. There have been things I have thrown money toward that have not been very successful or successful at all, and so I kind of want to save you the heartache of going down those roads and wasting that time and money, okay? So I'm going to just say it up front here. I sort of said it already, but if you are a self-published author and you want your books to be noticed, you are going to have to market them. You are going to have to market yourself. I've talked about branding yourself as an author in an earlier video where I talked about social media and about having a social media presence, about having a website, being regular with posting to that social media. So this is before you even publish your first book. You want to have a social media presence. If you haven't done that yet, if you're someone who is against social media, please maybe bite the bullet and have an author page on Facebook, have a website. You want to have a social media presence. This day and age, this is vital to making yourself noticed beyond just your immediate circle of friends and family, okay? You can't just put your book up on Amazon and leave it there and expect it to be noticed. There are, I think, something like 1,000 books a day, new books a day being put up on Amazon, okay? That's 30,000 books a month. That is a lot, my friends. And it's very easy to get lost in that. And you can't just put your book out there and expect it to be noticed, to stand out, okay? Even if it's a great story, there are so many people competing that you have to put some work into it. And so I am not an expert on marketing or promoting. That is not my background. Like you, I like to write, and so this is not something I necessarily enjoy doing, but it is necessary. And again, I will talk about my experiences and what I've learned, okay? And hopefully it will be helpful to you. So where do you start if you have very little money or no money? I already mentioned that you want to establish a presence on social media. I cannot stress this enough. This is branding your author name, okay? You don't want to just be promoting a single book. Hopefully you're going to be putting out more than one book. So you want people to know that you are an author, okay? So even before you put that book up there, you need to do this. Oh, look, there's my kitty Tater back there. You sometimes see his tail going around when I'm sitting here, but there he is up on the bed. One thing you can do if you do have a book that is going to be being released soon is you can set up a game plan where let's say you want to release the book in November. Well, you want to sort of start letting people know about it in advance. How far in advance is up to you. I wouldn't go more than 6 months out. Preferably like 3 months is probably a better window. I have done like cover reveals 5 or 6 months out, so something like that. If you just want to put like a cover reveal where you have the cover made for the book and you want to put that up on your Facebook page, meaning your author page, on your website, on Twitter, on Instagram, then cover reveals are a great way to say, hey, I've got a book coming out soon. You can also put up teasers where you put quotes from your book. You can use pablo.buffer.com to create nice looking quotes with nice backgrounds using one of their stock images. I will put the link below it. And this is a nice way, I've done this before, of just putting up like a quote from your book. You can put excerpts from your book. It doesn't have to be a whole chapter, but it can be a scene or something. You can have established your blurb that is basically your back cover of your book. And you can put that up there as a way to create, interest. So these are all things you can do in advance, and it doesn't cost you anything. And for people who are already following you, they can see this and they can know that you have a book coming out. When it gets closer to the release of your book, you can create on Facebook an online release party, which is something I did with my book releases, starting with my third book in 2018. As I record this, it's November of 2019. So anyway, you can make it an online release party and you can invite your friends and family. You can also post the link to it on your author page so other people who aren't on your friends list can certainly join. And when I did mine in advance of the release date, I created the release party and I put up like questions in advance, like I scheduled posts in advance that were going to be released like every hour for like 12 hours of that day as a way to get people interacting. You can ask them like, what kind of books do you like to read? Who's your favorite author? When you read a book, what do you look for in a book? You can certainly post links to, your book that's for sale. You can ask for monetary support. A couple of things you can set up are PayPal. You can create a PayPal donation page where you can put the link on your website. You can put it up on your social media where you can just ask for people to make donations to support you as an author. You can do a Patreon page, which is usually for people who are going to want to say, hey, I'm willing to donate every month. And there's something called Buy Me a Coffee, which is, I think it's only like a $3 donation. It's basically like if someone were to buy you a cup of coffee and it costs $3. So they don't have to give a lot, but it's something to help you out. So these are all ways that you can ask for support besides just the sales of your books. I will put the links to all of those donation pages below. So, of course, if you do have a book coming out soon, you want to start promoting it. You can do this on your personal Facebook page if you want, but you don't want to inundate your Facebook friends with this. This is why you also want to be doing this on your author page. But you can set up your book for pre-order on Amazon a few months in advance. And so it's available for pre-order. And that way when it comes out, the people will have the content directly delivered to their Kindle, or the paperback will be then, shipped to them, print-on-demand paperbacks. So pre-orders are a great way to get your book promoted before it even comes out. And when you post these links, you want to, suggest, hey, can you share this post, please? Have your friends and family share the post to help spread the word. If you blog, you can also, let's say you blog regularly on your website. At the bottom of your post, you can put a link to your book. You can say, hey, I have a book up for pre-order coming out this date, or I have these books on Amazon, please, check them out. You can put links at the bottom of every blog post you do to your books. This is another way that's totally free for you to help promote your books, okay? So these are all just several ideas of how to promote your book for free. You can seek out book bloggers and book reviewers You would give them a free copy of your book in exchange for an honest review. I have done this before. It's a great way to try to get some reviews for your book. Now, you don't always get people, they'll ask for the book. Oh, sure, I'll do it, they'll say, and they don't always do it. But you do get some feedback, you do get some reviews, and reviews are important for selling more books. When someone goes to look at your book, a lot of times they want to read the reviews to see what people thought of it. Also ask your friends and family to leave reviews. You can do read and review exchanges with other authors. I've done this before, where we buy each other's books, or we'll give each other free copies of our books, and we say, I'll read your book if you read mine, I'll review your book if you review mine. That's another way to get reviews for your book. I know I've talked about this before, but I'm going to throw it out there again. Use buffer.com to share your content. An easy way of scheduling your posts so you are regularly posting, preferably like daily or at least every other day if you have a book release coming up. And it shouldn't always just be a link to like your book that's for sale. You can put up like quotes from your book, or even just putting up other content that maybe not be exactly related to your book, but just, funny writing humor or just writing tips. It's just keeping a regular presence on social media. This is something you should always be doing, not just when you have a book coming out. Because when you have a steady presence on social media, you can gain more followers, you have more of a visible presence, and people will start to know, okay, she's an author. Gee, I like what she's sharing. Maybe I'll follow her, and this gives you the opportunity to interact with them. But by using Buffer, you don't have to be worried about getting online every day to put up that post. You can use Buffer to schedule them. So that's always a great way of making sure that those posts are going up regularly on social media. This is in general plus to help promote yourself and brand yourself as an author. So I've talked about a lot of ways that are free. Now, there are paid promotions that you can do. I will tell you straight up front that Facebook ads have not ever been successful for me. I have paid money when let's say I put up a post on my author page on Facebook, and Facebook a lot of times will ask like, hey, do you want to promote this, and you throw money at it, and it reaches all these people, but it really does not get sales. You might get a few people who actually click on the link or like the post, but it has not resulted in sales. So Facebook ads, in my opinion, are not worth it. Amazon ads, I talked to another author back in January who has been quite successful in selling books on Amazon. And now this makes more sense. If you're selling your books on Amazon, Amazon is the platform you're using to sell the books, right? Not Facebook. Facebook is a social media site that, yes, you're using to establish yourself as an author on there, but that's not the platform that is selling your books. Amazon is. So if you're going to use paid advertising, I would suggest you go with Amazon. It's advertising.amazon.com, I think. I'll put the link below. So this is something you would certainly do after you have already put your book out. You obviously would have to have a book to sell to be able to have Amazon ads. It does guide you through it, and it's one of those things that you have to kind of tweak. You set it up, see if you're getting any hits. If you're not, you make some tweaks, and you just kind of play with it until you start getting more hits that hopefully result in sales. Now, hits don't necessarily result in sales, but I feel that your money goes a lot farther toward at least exposure through Amazon ads than it does through Facebook. And you can run these as long as you want. You can have it run for a month, you can have it run for a year, you can set your daily budget, all that kind of stuff. You have the option on Amazon when you put your book up, you can make it free for up to 5 days, I believe, in a 3-month period. So a good thing about making your book free is, of course, people are going to be more likely to download it. Now, I realize you aren't making money off of giving away free books. However, stay with me here. Part of getting sales is exposure. The best hands down process I've used for getting a lot of downloads of a free book in one day has been Freebooksy.com. They have different plans that I think range between $60 and $100 to do a one-day promotion. So you have to make sure that you set your book to be free on that day. And they are Pacific Standard Time. I'm Eastern Standard Time. The way it works is it goes from midnight to midnight, Pacific Standard Time. So if you're in a different time zone, you're going to want to make sure you make your book free for the day of the promotion and the day after the promotion, because it's 3 in the morning here, Eastern Time, the next day when that promotion is ending, and the book needs to be free for that complete 24-hour period in Pacific Time, okay? So I just want to make sure I put that out there. They do state that because if the book is not free for the whole 24-hour period, you forfeit it. So you don't want that to happen. But I have gotten 1,000, 2,000 downloads of a book in a single day. Like I said, granted, this is free, but what it does is it moves your book up into usually the top 100 free books on Amazon that day. It's pretty cool. And in your category or subcategory that your book is in, your genre or whatever, it could be in the top 10, which is pretty cool because then your book is noticed by people. Its ranking goes way up. So when your book is no longer free, it's still going to be up high in that ranking for a little while, for at least the next day. And you do have the potential of getting some paid sales. And so I usually do get a few paid sales from running a Freebooksy promotion for a day, okay? And now there are 1,000 or 2,000 copies of my book out there, which also results in some reviews coming in. So like I said, reviews are great. They help sell more books. So that has been a really great promotion tool, is Freebooksy.com. Again, the link will be below. I have used something called Rachel's Rambling Resources. I will post the link below. It is a site that does promotions for books. I have done their one-day blog blitz, which what it is when I have a new book coming out, or sometimes a few weeks after it's out, I pay, it's very decently priced. It's £42. She's British, Rachel's British, but I think that becomes, I don't know, $56 or something, at least last time I paid for it. It's very, very decently priced, and Rachel has been great to work with. I've worked with her 3 times now, and you pay her that money and she does all the rest of the work. What she will do is you have lots of different options of what kind of package you want to purchase, but these are blog tours. And what she does is she finds people who are book bloggers who you would be giving a free copy of your book to them, and a lot of them will leave reviews on their websites to help promote your book release or a book that's already out, and they'll also put them on Goodreads a lot of times. So that is an awesome way to get reviews and potentially some sales. Now, not everybody who signs up for the blog tour is going to leave a review. Several of them will. Some of them will just post your cover and a link to where your book is for sale, but it's still exposure. So that has been a great resource for helping to promote your book as well. You can also do a Goodreads giveaway. It's $100, I believe, to give away 100 copies. These are digital copies of your book. You can do it where you send it in the mail, and I think it's free to do those giveaways, but then obviously you're paying for the postage to send the books, and you set up how many you want to give away. You're paying for the postage and of course the books. So I think those giveaways are free to set up on Goodreads, but I like that if you do the one for $100, 100 copies of your book goes out. And again, these are free books, but it is a great way to gain. These people are instantly going to have your book added to their to read books on Amazon, and you will get some reviews coming in. So these are all methods I've used to help gain exposure and get some sales. And one thing I hear time and time again is that you have to keep writing more books to sell more books. I've heard if you write 5 books, you kind of got to get to 5 books. I don't know if this is some magic number. I have just gotten to that point and I can't say this for sure, but they'll say your second book sells your first book, your third book sells your second book, etc., etc. You keep putting out more work, you're going to keep having a steady presence online, and so if you just put out one book and that's it, then people are less likely to buy your book because you're not creating any new content, right? So keep writing more books. That is a great way to keep selling more books. The last thing I want to mention is selling books in person. Now, I've known some authors, not myself, but some authors who have gone into small bookstores and gotten those bookstores to take a few copies of their books and be willing to sell them. You can also seek out opportunities locally to sell your books, craft shows, craft fairs, whatever. I've done a few of those. You do usually have to pay $30 to have a table, but the hope is that you would sell some books. There is a bookstore near me that's a private bookstore that does something called Author Alley every summer, where you have a table and it's free to do. So you might have a bookstore near you that does an event like this, or maybe the library. I would look into libraries and local bookstores to see if there are any author events throughout the year where you potentially could sell your books as well. So this would be selling physical copies of your books in person. So these are all ways to help gain exposure, to get reviews, to make sales. So I hope you have found this useful. I thank you for staying with me through this long video, and I hope you guys will join me next Monday for my next video. And remember to subscribe and hit the bell beside it. I will see you guys later. Bye! I just wanted to plug a couple of books. So at the end of this video is going to be a little add-on where I've had it at the end of a lot of my videos where I plug my first 3 novels. I'm going to plug, I have 2 more coming out. The first one is called Rocks and Flowers in a Box. The release is December 21st, 2019, and it will probably already be out by the time I post this. The second is called Mile Marker 139, which comes out January 18th, 2020. So check those out. The links are below. By the way, Rocks and Flowers in a Box is part of a series. It is a sequel to my novel Lorna versus Laura. So it's part of the Lorna and Tristan series. A little bit of self-promotion, shameless plug, whatever you want to call it. I just want to share with you that I have 3 books out on Amazon. I'm going to hold up the paperbacks so you can see what they look like. First book, Hannah's Rainbow. This is my first book that is loosely based on my late grandma's life. Second book, Lorna versus Laura. This is a suspense romance. And third book, Laughing Matter of Pain, which is a spin-off of Hannah's Rainbow about her brother Harry. Those are available in paperback as well as Kindle on Amazon.com. And if you are interested in knowing more about the process of writing a book for a busy mama like yourself, don't forget to check out my helpful guide called 30 Minutes a Day, Busy Mamas, is all it takes to write that book.